Alright, welcome back to another video. It's been, I think, almost 3 months since I've uploaded. Oh, fucking shit. I already can't speak English. It's been about 3 months since I uploaded my last video. Today is October 1st. I just want to review price action. There's been an increased interest in the way I trade, so I'm just going to make this video here, and I'm going to post this in my Discord for anyone that's following along right now, so that way you can kind of see what it is that I'm seeing in price. And yeah, we're just going to review price action a little bit today and go over what I look at. So let's do that. So this is how I look at my charts. First off, NQ and ES side by side right here, and then I can switch to YM, and I also trade gold a little bit too, so if I need to switch to that, I can do that like that. Yeah, I can always see whatever correlated assets that I'm trading. So I'm going to delete this text here because this is not important. This is not important. We're going to say the same exact things that are on the chart already. So coming into today, what's the first thing we have to take note of? It's a new month, okay? New month. Boom, boom. This is monthly open. This is previous month high right here. Boom, boom. Previous month high and monthly open. Don't know why I dragged that out so fucking far. We don't need it that far. We drop down to the week. Weekly was not up here yet. Daily candle. Today we took this low down in London, and then we started, having the reversal early in New York. So this candle, this hadn't printed like this yet. It was a lot closer to being down here, but that gave me enough to be able to say, okay, I believe the bias is bullish, and I want to see expansion higher, because we already took previous day low, and we're already close to all-time highs. So what did I want to see coming into today? I wanted to see us, take previous day high and clear. I just want to see us clear highs. So not too much analysis went in on the daily, other than, again, like I said, when I looked at the daily chart, at the time I was looking at the daily chart to form a bias. We had already taken previous day low on the indexes, and we had traded all the way back up to the opening price, right? At that point, why would we not take previous day high? The indexes have been so bullish. We're at all-time highs, right? So that gave us our bias. Now, if we go down to the 2 hour, we also use the 3 hour a little bit, but my main focus when I'm talking about higher time frames is usually going to be the 2 hour and the 1 hour. But the highest time frame that I'll look at is usually the 2 hour. Sometimes, only sometimes, will I look at the 3 hour. So looking at the 2 hour. Now I didn't take note of all-time highs being right here coming into today. Now had I done that, I probably could have had a much better trade than I did, but that's okay. What I did take note of were all of these opening prices down here. So we had our weekly open, and then I was focused on today's daily candle open, which we already marked out because it was a new month. So again, today's daily candle open. The same thing we do over here on ES, we do over here on NQ. I trade NQ, so most of the times I'm looking mainly at NQ. So here's the weekly open for NQ. And then here was today's daily candle open. Now, again, at this point, when I was looking at the chart for my New York trade, okay, we had already started to trade back up towards the opening price, right up in here, right? So again, I wanted to see higher prices. We had already set this low. We're going to drop down onto the 1 hour time frame, and you can see this low forms between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. So I was pretty confident that that was our low of day. So again, this low was set at a time I expected low of day to be formed. So I didn't expect us to come take out this low again because of the time this low was set. At that point, I just wanted to see higher prices. Now, before price even got up here, I figured we could get to this 15 extension level right here. Now, the only reason I figured we could get to this 15 extension level is because if you're in my Discord, you'll know I talk about the midnight opening range. Or if you follow me on Twitter, you know I talk about the midnight opening range. That's my favorite concept. But one pattern that I've taken note of is when, you know, London sets its low down here, or high or low, during the manipulation leg or whatever, before the distribution, let's just put it that way. Before distribution takes place and London session is setting the high or low, take note of what levels that high or low is being set at. Today it's the low. So where are these lows being set at on the indexes, right? This low is on NQ, is down here at this -10. And this low on ES is down here at this -7.5 level. So one trend that I've started to notice is whenever that distribution leg, you know, starts distributing, we can reach the equal and opposite level. So immediately we could already go for that 7.5, or we could double the move from the London session. So because over here on ES we reached down to that -7.5, I anticipated ES finishing at that 15. NQ came all the way down here to the -10. And the only reason I didn't want to see us to come up here to this +20 is just because, like, that seemed outlandish to me. But as you can see right there, we pretty much top tick that. Like, pretty much to the tick right there. And there was another range that I use. If you follow me, you know I talk about this a little bit as well. But the 9:30 a.m. to the 10 a.m. open also gave us a confluence that we could have used to target this 20. Again, at that time, I hadn't looked at this 15 level yet. I had turned my 10 on, and this is actually where I ended up cutting my trade today. Because again, I said that 20 level just looked a little far-fetched to me. I didn't expect price to be able to reach all the way up here. But had I turned on, you know, that 15 level right there, I would have seen, you know, hey, these overlap. That's a pretty strong confluence for me. When I have, you know, things overlapping like that, that's pretty strong confluence to me. To me, that means, you know, drawing liquidity is very likely to be at that level. And then if we zoomed out just a little bit, we would have seen we had previous all-time highs right here, generate liquidity, you know, double top, equal highs, whatever you want to call it, all the same shit. Boom, boom, right overlapping our level. So there was a lot of confluence for price to just want to come up here. Very, very easy day to be bullish. Very, extremely, extremely easy day to be bullish. And if we look at it, high of day, right here, we can drop down to the 1 minute to see this. And again, I had these levels on my chart after the midnight opening range printed, and then after 10:30 a.m. opened up. Literally, as soon as 10:30 a.m. opened up, I put this fib on here, and I knew price was coming up here, at least to this 10, and that's where I ended up cutting my trade. I made what, like $800 with 3 micro contracts, so 130 point trade it was. But if you look at that, where's this price? What is that high? 25,036.75. What is this price right here for that 15 extension level? That looks like, here, let's make it bigger just so, you know, the people who can't see can see. What is that price? That looks like 25,036.75 to me. Right, so again, high of day, right there at 25,036.75. To the motherfucking tick, baby. Okay? So, when I'm talking about these concepts, I'm telling you guys what I see. I'm telling you guys to note these things. Just know, I've seen this shit repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? Now, on the week, what do we have? Week open up bullish as hell. All of this right here, this right here is accumulation. This right here starts our manipulation leg. We sweep out these highs. We clear these highs, right? And then we take price lower. At this point, bears are trapped. Everyone thinks this is going to go lower. I myself didn't long down here because I was like, what if we do go lower? But, you know, I made a mistake in doing so because I saw this candle right here and I figured this could have been an order block. And then we created this fair value gap. Well, we never traded back into it. I should have been, you know, long bias at that point. I think we also have an SMT here as well. Boom, boom. Where's it at? Okay, this is hourly charter, that's why. I believe there's an SMT somewhere right in here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, yeah, so there's an SMT down here in London, 3:30 to 4 a.m. right there. And on NQ, again, 3:30 to 4 a.m. SMT right there. This also printed a precision candle where NQ clearly has a down close candle right there. ES did not, you know, close up or down, which basically they might as well have closed up in my eyes. That becomes a precision candle to me. I want to see one of these assets sweep the low, the other one not sweep the low, so that'll create an SMT, and then I want to see expansion from that point on, right? So that's exactly what happens. You know, PSP is created, NQ takes the low, ES does not, and then we get our balanced price range, breakaway gap, and price, you know, reverses. That's the smart money reversal right there. It happened at a specific time as well, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning. So everything was there to say, okay, this is now low of day. We shouldn't see price come back down here. And if price is going to trade back down after trading above this 30-minute order block right here, because once this up close candle closes above this entire down close candle right here, this down close candle becomes an order block. So if price is going to trade back into this order block, we have to take note of where are our fair value gaps. There's one right here, and there's one right here. And then what do we have overlapping with those fair value gaps? Well, we have this -3 to -3.5 zone on NQ. And that, in my eyes, is a liquidity pool. We get that from the time-based range, which is the midnight opening range. And this is the 30-minute zone right here. And as you see, we trade right to the top of that zone. We wick through it, rally. New York AM comes back, trades right into it again. This is the weekly open, pretty much to the tick right there. One tick under it, and then price rallies away. We never saw price come back down, right? So that's pretty much all I was seeing. And then also, it's important to note there was an SMT here as well. And the moment I saw this SMT, I was very, very comfortable taking my longs post 9:30. I longed originally, if we drop down to the 1 minute time frame, my original long 9:30. I had waited for this to happen, and I longed within this candle right here. I think I had longed like right in here. And I was up, and then it came back and stopped me out. And I was like, well, fuck. And then we hit this bitch right here to the motherfucking tick, created that SMT. The moment I noticed the SMT was there, I was like, okay, this could be, you know, smart money reversal. I waited for 10 a.m. to open up. 10 a.m. opened up, took the low, closed back within the range, and then at 10:01, I was entering that trade long. Take me too high a day, baby. And then that's when, well, that's not when, but, and this was all happening really quick. As soon as 10 a.m. open, I took my fib from 9:30 to 10 a.m., hurried up, put that on my chart so I could see and have an idea of where price wants to go. gave us these levels here. And then 10:01, I was in that bitch stop loss at the 10 a.m. low. This was a pretty big wick. I expected and anticipated this to be the 10 a.m. 4-hour candle low, or at least the 10 a.m. 1-hour candle low, and I wanted to see us take out those highs, which is exactly what happened. I originally had one trim at these highs, but then I was like, nah, fuck that. This bitch looks bullish as shit. We could target at least this 10 extension level, and I did that. Again, why was I like, fuck that, this bitch looks bullish as shit? Where did London trade to? We have this negative 10 extension here, and I was like, we can at least make it to the 7.5. So instead of having my trim there, I was like, let's let price get to the 7.5, and then decide where we want to cut our trade from there. So we got up to that 7.5, and I was like, you know what? We might be able to take out this 10 level. Also, this 10 overlaps with this right here. Now, oftentimes when we're at these overextended levels, I like to take my fib, and I go from the lower level to the higher level, or the higher level to the lower level. It doesn't matter. And I just like to see where the midpoint is of these higher levels. So like between 10 and 15, I'll do that. Between 15 and 20, I'll do that. Between 7.5 and 10, I wouldn't really do that. That's for like a pretty small zone. But between 5 and 7.5, sometimes I'll do it, even though it's the same number, right? It just depends day to day. And like there's special cases as to like when I would do that. If we were consolidating back and forth, okay, maybe I would do that. But we weren't consolidating back and forth today. Today we had, pretty clean run down, pretty clean run up. So there wasn't a reason to look for a specific level between those smaller levels. Anyway, 50% of the 10 and the 15. Again, we were down here at the 7.5. I know price could possibly reach up to this 15, but I didn't want to be greedy. So I, took my chips right here around this level. I think I had my take profit at like 24,940 something. I didn't even have it all the way at 945, even though, I knew that was the draw. It was like somewhere right in here is when I got out the trade. Oh, 930 actually. That's why I had my shit at 24,930. So I was out the trade right here. Boom. And my entry was right down here. So it was like a 130 point trade. My entry was like right here. Oh, and I was on trading MNQ too as well. That's why it looks a little bit different. But same thing with MNQ, exact same analysis, exact same shit. Only difference is the levels are a little bit different, and that's because MNQ and NQ are not perfectly synced. So it can be good to take note of both assets, micros and the minis, because you can get a little bit different measurements off of that. Like right here, you can see this 15 overlaps perfectly with this 15 on MNQ versus on NQ. Our 15 overlaps with the 20 here, right? And then if we look down at these 1 minute candles, pay attention to these highs on NQ, and then we're gonna come back over here to MNQ, right? So you can see there's an SMT at the highs between MNQ and NQ, right? And that can be very telling as well sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much, I think that pretty much covers everything I was seeing today and why I, was bullish and anticipating higher prices. And let's go back to NQ. And yeah, I think that's pretty much that. I think that's that. I try not to look at anything under the 30 minute these days, because if there's like something setting up on the 30 minute, it usually is all I need. So I really only look at my setups from the 30 minute and above, so 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour. And let me give you guys some 2 hour sauce, right? So each session is 6 hours. Asia session, London session, New York AM, New York PM. New York PM is a little bit weird, but right here, we're on 2 hour chart. I'll put both of these on 2 hour charts so you can see. Like, this shit's not too distracting. Right. So this is all we're looking at basically, right? For the daily candle. So the daily candle opened up here. I know it's going to settle low. I like to skip the Asia session, so we let these first 6 hours print. During London, if you look, there has been no swing high put in during this first 6, 8, 10. During the first 10 hours, there's no 2 hour swing high put in. And then we get smart money reversal at a key time. And now we're going to put in highs. Also, look at this on the 2 hour. What fucking zone do we bounce at? I've been speaking about this a lot. Now I'm going to continue to point this out. But again, this is like a liquidity pool. You get different measurements for different time frames, right? So this 2 hour is going to give you the first 2 hour midnight opening range. The 1 hour is going to give you the 1 hour midnight opening range. And the 30 minutes is going to give you the first 30 minute midnight opening range. Right? And again, daily candle goes, sets a low somewhere. Where can we anticipate a low to be formed? Well, this is a common spot for it to be formed. And if it didn't form there, maybe we come down here. But we didn't do that. So not even want to worry about that. We can also just look at it like this. Open, low, high, close. Right. So you can disregard the Asia session almost every fucking day. It really doesn't, provide too much information. All you really need to know is like, okay, London may reverse Asia, or we may continue Asia. Today we reversed Asia. Let me show you an example of where we continue the Asia session move. And also, same thing here on YM. Same things. Where's low day form on YM? Down here at the -5. Where's higher day form? Up here at the +10. Right, so that distribution leg can double whatever the initial move was in London. Right, so if London goes to the -5, we can see higher day form at the +10. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple, right? And that's true on both these indexes today. NAS, lower day, -5. Higher day, +10, and that's on the 2 hour midnight opening range. If we go down to the 30 minute over here on YM, you can see down here, -7.5. Where's high day form? +15. Right? Is 15 not 2.5 times 7.5? I think it is. It basically 3x's this move, huh? Oh, no, I'm tripping. 2x, because, yeah. -7. Wait, but then we go 7.5. And then we go 15. No, it actually does 3x. I'm not tripping. I am not tripping at all. Yeah, 3x is this, right? So 7.5 to 0. And then 0 to 7.5. And then 7.5 to 15. What else? I'm trying to make sure I'm not leaving out any details as to what it was that I was seeing. Oh yeah, I said I was going to show you guys an example of when London continues Asia. Right, so right here, beginning of the week. Right, beginning of the week opens up. This is Asia session, these first 3 candles. Right, and then what does London do? Continue. These 3 candles are London session. And then what did New York AM do? Reversal. Right here, right? So New York AM starts at 6. And then right here, this is 8. Usually there's economic news or something that drops between this candle, which you'll see, the 8 o'clock AM 2 hour candle is usually a larger candle. And then if there's no news then it usually comes in the 10 o'clock candle. Monday, there was no news though. This is still just how the algorithm delivers price. New York AM does what? Reverse, and New York PM continues that reversal. And then what do we do right here? We start accumulating. Where are these candles closing? Within this candle body right here. This Asia session does what? Accumulates This London session takes us to these lows. This New York session manipulates above the high, takes the low, takes the high, closes back within the range, and then our PM session starts here, and we distribute above the highs. However, this was the weekly manipulation. Manipulate above these highs, take us back under these lows. What is this Asia session doing? We're trading lower, we're manipulating lower. London's still manipulating lower, continues that manipulation leg. Boom, we run into a liquidity pool right there at the negative 3.5. Smart money reversal with the S&T at a key time between 2 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning. Price rallies. New York AM begins. We've already started our distribution between 8 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. We've taken the high, we've taken the low. It's a smaller time frame manipulation. Look at that on a smaller time frame. Right there. Take the high, take the low. Smaller time frame manipulation, right? So accumulation, manipulation. And then what does 10 o'clock do? Start to distribute price to higher day, where we're already anticipating it to form because we have the levels. Anyway, you guys kind of get it. I hope you do. If not, that's okay. I'm going to be making more videos explaining more of what I see, and you can find it right here on this channel. See you in the next one.